Hi there, greetings and salutations. It is a sleep deprivation. Been a while since we've done that, Derek.
Oh, no.
What are you staring at the floor for? This is when I do my best stuff.
That's bad. That's not good.
No.
Not a good way to start the show.
For whatever reason, I sat and stared at the ceiling all night in anticipation of the fact that we had so much to talk about. The 3-0. Derek, we'll begin with a trivia question right now. Off the top of your head, the 6 teams in the NFL unbeaten go.
Oh, God. Eagles. Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Boom.
Indianapolis Colts.
Boom.
Boo. Now I'm struck. Oh, Niners are 3-0, right?
Boom.
Yeah, Niners are 3-0.
Another one from the same state. Another one from the same state. Go further south.
California, the Chargers.
Bingo. All right, now we need to go back this way. Rust Belt City, way up in the corner. Big quarterback.
Buffalo.
Buffalo is indeed correct.
Okay,
and
cool.
your Indianapolis Colts. Those are the undefeated teams. All right, Derek, I need you to tell me the 2 teams from the state of Indiana ranked in college football right now.
Indiana, Notre Dame.
Thank you. Okay, I need you to tell me the 4 teams remaining in the WNBA playoffs and the one that is leading 1-0 after a win against the dominant team out west.
Aces, Fever, Lynx.
It's getting hot in here. It's getting hot in here. Named
St.
after
Louis?
a planet. Named after a planet.
Oh, Phoenix Mercury.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, it's getting hot in here is Nelly. Nelly's from St. Louis. St. Louis does not have a WNBA
What happens
team.
when it gets hot? What goes up?
The temperature?
The temperature is. Do you
Jake,
know?
like-
do you know why Phoenix is called the Mercury?
look,
do
I
you think
know-
it's because they play their home games on another planet? No, it's because Phoenix is hot in the desert, and they show like the thing of the thermometer, and there's red liquid in it that's called mercury.
Okay, let me ask. Vince is cooler than us, right? And Vince, you're a hip hop guy, right? You like hip hop, yeah? When you hear a Nelly song, what do you immediately think of? What American city do you immediately think of when you think of Nelly? St. Louis. He's like the claim to fame for St. You lived in St. Louis. You know this, how big of a deal he is in St. Louis. If you're going to do a Nelly song, it has to be a St. Louis team. It can't be the Phoenix Mercury. I can't even say Mercury right.
Okay, what about this?
Mercury.
If you're going to do a song about the Phoenix Mercury, what song do you do?
There's a band called Phoenix.
What?
Yeah, that were pretty good. I think they were
like
French guys.
Were they like Anvil?
No, they weren't. They didn't rock as hard. They weren't heavy metal. They weren't in that genre.
Metal on Metal one time came
Metal
on
Metal.
Sirius XM when I was driving.
Hell yeah. Yeah, they had a couple of bangers. Anvil did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hardly. There is plenty to talk about, and my name is Jake Query. That is Derek Schultz. It is the Query and Schultz program here on the ISC Sports Network. We've lost track what number show this is. I don't even know.
255 maybe? 56?
Is it that high?
54? Okay.
254?
Yeah.
Okay.
I thought last week's was 254 for some reason. I don't know. Whatever.
Either way.
We're fine.
Derek, this is this past weekend truly was. I mean, there are few that, maybe you didn't have like championship level big push, although in the Fever case you did, games and victories and that kind of thing. But it was pretty dynamic because you had Indiana and Illinois, you had Purdue and Notre Dame. And I thought, even though, and I know that I'm probably being like overly bullish or kind almost out of necessity, but I thought Purdue against Notre Dame, even though it was a blowout, they looked to me, I think he's a good coach. And I think they've got a foundation there where it just, you look at Purdue and you're like, okay, it was not like a year ago. But either way, then you get into obviously the Colts game and then the Fever and what they're doing and now being at what? The Fever are 6 wins away from a championship?
Yeah, that's insane. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, wait. The WNBA finals are best of 5 too, right? Or did they make it 7?
I think it's
Is it 7? Is that new? Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that. Yeah. So yeah, you're right. 6 wins away. We'll segment this out. So we'll start Colts as we normally do,
right.
And then we want to do IU football and college football in general second, and then Fever third. That's what I had in my notes. But
do you remember the day that Greg Poley pointed this out? Do you remember the day that Ari Leyendyke won his second Indianapolis 500?
No, the Indianapolis 500 was really not very relevant to my life outside of the fact that my dad watched it and my mom forced me to watch it.
Okay. So in 1997, it was a disastrous year because it poured down rain. They started the race at rain. Then you came back the next day and it rained again. And then on Tuesday, they basically said, you know what? Open it up. The doors are open. Just come on in and watch the race. And Leyendyke won. That was the year of the famous, he and Scott Goodyear at the end, what the hell are they doing when they waved the flag? And at any rate, Leyendyke wins his second Indy 500. On that day, Daniel Jones was born.
Oh, wow.
Greg Poley looked that up. That which makes me feel really old. But that was the first time that he was born. He has been reborn now as an NFL quarterback, right? And what are you staring at me for?
No, you're making a good point. You're doing a great job. Keep going. I'm not staring at you. I'm intently listening because you are captivating me.
I was hypnotizing you there.
No, I'm interested to hear what you have to say. Okay. See, you had to.
Daniel Jones, Derek, and what we don't know and what I don't know. He has been reborn here as an NFL quarterback. This is a guy, everybody knows the story. Drafted high by the New York Giants, showed some promise, got a big contract, and then it just went south. And they moved on from him, and he ends up in Indianapolis. And he has been remarkably efficient. They have taken care of the football. He has made the throws he needs to make when they need to make them. He has tucked the ball and run and shown athleticism in a smart way, not relying on that, but getting himself out of bad plays. Through 3 games, he has been one of the top 5 quarterbacks in the NFL, truthfully. And he is probably the reason right now the Colts are 3-0. The question is, and this is something that we'll probably ponder for years, is he off to this start because Shane Steichen has once again become a quarterback whisperer, and, Steichen is calling plays that are exactly what Daniel Jones needs? Or is Daniel Jones a guy that was in a terrible situation in New York? Chris Ballard saw it, brought him in, and he actually now is playing at a level that is making Shane Steichen look reborn.
I mean, I think it's a little bit of both. I think Steichen and Jones are helping each other. I think this is a rare case, though, where there is no one that can say, "I told you so," because there was nothing that indicated that Daniel Jones was capable of playing at this level. He's never done this before.
I would disagree with that, though. He had a small window with the Giants.
He never had a 3-game stretch like this.
But didn't they give him a huge contract?
They did, because of a smoke and mirror season where they went 9-8 and everything went right.
But that's my point, is he had glimpses there where you're like, this guy can play.
I mean, Saquon Barkley was great, and there were other things that happened. Again, the Giants won. They were like 8-1 in one-score games. Like 2022 was like a huge. It was like the Jaguars' year a couple of years ago with Trevor Lawrence. It was mostly a mirage, and those things happen. And we're trying to make sure that this isn't a mirage with Jones, but. I'm not saying this to get defensive or anything. It's just that I don't want to hear "I told you so" from anybody, because nobody could have possibly foreseen that he was going to play at this level, even for a 3-game stretch, which is a small sample. Not Chris Ballard, not Shane Steichen. I mean, Steichen was confident that Jones could raise their floor, and clearly he's done that, but no one knew that he would be bumping up against this type of ceiling. Literally everything that he struggled with in New York, he has succeeded with through the first 3 games.
Right.
Not turning the ball over, making all of the right decisions, getting himself out of situations where he's being pressured and stepping up at the right time and throwing downfield, like all of these things that he really wasn't doing in New York, he's doing now. And I think what it comes with, I think there are 2 things that the Colts hit on with this relationship. One is they could make him very comfortable with a really good offensive line, a great running back, right? And good pass catchers, good, reliable pass catchers. No, the Colts don't have a game breaker, right? But they have good, Michael Pittman Jr., good, reliable pass catcher. Josh Downs, good, reliable pass catcher.
You're missing one.
I mean, Tyler Warren's been a dynamic player too. Alec Pierce has become a good, reliable one.
They've done a remarkable job of
been good.
Again, if we're going with rebirth, now, bad term here with Alec Pierce, but redefined.
Yeah.
Because Alec Pierce is a guy that when Daniel Jones got the job, it was like, well, put a for sale sign in Alec Pierce's house.
Yeah, right, yeah.
And now, wait a minute.
Yeah, Pierce is more than
he's
just
like
a downfield
nice
threat.
Possession receiver.
He's more than
right?
just and he catches everything. Dude, even the stuff that they say is not a catch.
He supposedly dated that Sidney
I know,
Sweeney.
yeah, we talked about that for the last couple of shows. But
that's a good catch.
Comfortability
if that's the case,
is
right?
one thing, and I
think
think
that's a pretty good pull.
The other thing that they're tapping into is that Jones, with Richardson, it was traits.
Do you not like that Sidney Sweeney? That doesn't seem to excite you.
She's amazing. Traits with Richardson. It's all about physical attributes.
Is it her traits you like?
Let's talk about this because we're on a good point here. With Jones, it's smarts. And Steichen's a big football dork nerd too.
He is.
And I think they're just meshing together in their football nerdiness, because Jones is a meticulous prepper, and he's just a super smart dude. And so while he doesn't have the physical attributes that Anthony Richardson has, or Lamar Jackson or Josh Allen or some of those other guys that are the elite level quarterbacks, the dude can take advantage of his intelligence. And I think that he's doing that so far. But I watched him on the Manning. Did you watch the Manning cast last night?
No,
I watched a little bit of it.
Right.
And it's funny because, Rake, did you watch Daniel Jones on the Manning cast? Okay. He's so boring. He's a terrible interview. He's not really interesting at all.
Right.
But there's just something kind of endearing about it because he's just a massive football.
You know what he
dork.
looks like to me? I have a picture. I should have had them posted here. I can't place it, but it's not the Kroger guy. There's some sort of like an anime character he reminds me of.
Yeah.
Because he has like kind of this just like generic look on his face.
He kind of has the bright eyes like this all the time.
Yes.
Yeah. Where like even when he's just looking at you, it's like the eyes are wide open.
Right.
So I think that's a little bit cartoonish.
But here's the thing, and this is a big this is for way down the road. But you have to then ask yourself, is this a guy that is this Sam Darnold of like kind of a 1-year window, or is he the long-term guy?
Or is it Baker?
Right.
Or is it Baker? But the difference is like with Baker had a really good season in 2020. Like Daniel Jones, like he was okay in 22 and he got a contract, but the Giants, I don't think it was, well, you got to give him this contract because he's definitely the guy. I think it was because we got to see more. We have no choice. We kind of have to, we feel like we have to reward him with that.
The Giants are fascinating because Daniel Jones gets a little bit of a pass because you go, well, he was with an organization that's a train wreck, right?
Oh, my God, yeah.
But what's interesting is they have one player, they have one move they made that I'm watching because I was watching them, were they Monday night or Sunday night games?
Sunday night.
And Cam, now, how do you say his last name?
Scattaboo.
Scattaboo or Scatabo? Because it's only one O, but somehow it's Scattaboo. It confuses me.
Yeah.
Doesn't his last name only have one O? But everybody says Scattaboo, right? Either way. He was a dynamic player in college that I'm not going to say single-handedly took Arizona State to the college football playoff, but, I mean, he kept them in that
Super
game,
fun,
right?
Yeah.
And then you look at it and you go, why did so many teams pass on this guy?
Yeah.
Because Tyrone Tracy gets hurt for the Giants, they put him in, and this guy's just making plays all over the place.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's just too bad they have, like, basically a corpse at quarterback right now. I mean, Russell Wilson, if you try
he threw for 450 yards a week ago, Derek.
He's like beyond like Matt Ryan 22 level cooked. Like he's completely and totally cooked.
And has been for like 3 years.
Yeah, and has been for a while. You're right. Yeah, he's been and future Hall of Famer, Super Bowl champion. Right, Russell Wilson had an amazing career, but he is toast. And I don't see what the harm is in just going to Dart. Because you got to kind of see what you have there. And they probably will. Maybe the Wilson thing, and I don't know, maybe it'll be this week. Maybe it'll be by the time you watch this show that they announce that he's the new starter. But, yeah, like getting back to it, there are certain organizations, like certainly both of the ones in New York City, the Jets and Giants, where they're just such a train wreck that you wonder, can anybody succeed there? So maybe, Darnold and Jones, maybe we should have given them more credit because those organizations are just so bad. Maybe it's amazing that Jones took the Giants to the playoffs because nobody takes the Giants to the playoffs. They're terrible.
Let me tell you what else.
They've been terrible since they won the Super Bowl here.
Here's the other thing that's amazing. The Colts are 3-0. Okay? Going into the year, you assumed the AFC South that their biggest competition in the division would be who?
Houston.
It's over. It's over.
They don't.
I mean, unless Jacksonville, finds something. And Jacksonville doesn't.
I think Jacksonville's pretty good.
Jacksonville's got a decent defense.
Tennessee's, if they're not the worst team in the league, maybe the Giants and Jets are. They're close.
Here's the thing about the Colts 3-0 start.
Horrible.
Let's be real about this, okay? The Denver game, you don't look a gift Bronco in the mouth, right? They got a gift there. But even still, they won. Aside from that, they have essentially played Kennesaw State, Old Dominion, and Indiana State.
Yeah.
And then the schedule gets real, right? So now it gets real because they got to go and they got to take on the Rams in Los Angeles. But then after that, Derek, you turn around, you got home games against the Falcons and the Cardinals.
It looks like it lights up. Well, I mean, the Cardinals are 2-1, and they barely lost to the Niners. I just think, Jake, it's not who you're beating, it's how you're beating them. And the Colts aren't
correct.
Remember last year,
the 2 games that they should win, they beat them soundly.
Do you remember last year the Colts needed a fourth quarter drive to beat a deader than dead Jets team, and they needed like a 19 play, 7 fourth down conversions against the Patriots were terrible last year.
Right.
And they needed like 100 different fourth downs to go their way to win that game. Like, there's a difference between winning that way and winning the way that the Colts are.
Give me the 3 teams right now in the NFL that you're like, I have no idea if they're good or bad.
Well, Cardinals are one.
Okay.
No idea if they're good or bad. Just for Steelers?
Okay.
I don't really know.
Bengals?
Yeah, Bengals is just going to be tough to overcome with the Burrow thing. They've obviously got a lot of talent, but it's just going to be tough. I don't know if I would say that. I don't think the Steelers are going to be bad. I just don't know if they're good. That's kind of how I would. That's how I would phrase that.
Dallas?
No, I think Dallas just might not be good.
Why are you saying
I think Dallas just might not be good.
I don't think anybody cares that you know what I mean.
No, there are Cowboys fans that watch this show.
San Francisco?
I haven't watched him at all.
Mac Jones at quarterback, right?
I know. I haven't watched him at all. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Colts have to play out there.
Seattle?
Again, the West Coast teams I'm kind of catching up with.
Like you haven't gotten that on your DVR yet? What are you doing? Like you haven't gotten to season 3? Yeah, I mean, I'm midway through. I
have trouble sometimes transitioning seasons. I need more samples to come. So I'm not going to judge a team over 1, 2, 3 games because I don't have the chance. Like, I'm not 25 anymore watching 28 hours of NFL football over the course of 3 days. Like, I don't do that anymore. I have Little League games, and my wife's yelling at me about stuff. And, I have other things in my life that I have to prioritize. So it takes me longer to get solid footing and be able to watch everybody that I want to watch.
What about college football? Do you do...
Same thing. I mean, I think Indiana's really good. But we'll talk about them in the next segment. I just think where the Colts are right now, Jake, I was thinking about this. To win that division, you probably only need to win 9. 10 definitely takes it.
I don't disagree.
So at this point...
They're 30% of the way there.
At this point, if they finished 6-8... they would be right there. If not division champions, they would be right there.
You're right.
And I was not all the way certain that the Colts would be right there in the mix this year. I mean, you talk about having no expectations. The buzz about this team 4 weeks ago didn't even register. You can't even say it was a 0.2 or a 0.1. The needle didn't even move. I can't remember a Colts. I've lived in Indianapolis for 20 years. I cannot remember a Colts season where fans were more apathetic going in than this one. And to have these results like this in the first 3 weeks, it's almost like I don't even care if it's a mirage. It just feels good to feel good about the Colts again. It's been so long since we felt good about the Colts.
So let me tell you something. Somebody sent me this message yesterday that said that the Colts lost money based on ticket sales already this year. Have you heard this?
No.
And I got to find it. Carry on.
They lost money. Well, it doesn't matter because they're good. They're TV checks, so who cares? The attendance is just
it's fair.
The icing on the cake. I mean, go tune into some of these September baseball games for some of these teams. And you would think that they're losing money hand over fist, but in reality, they're getting their revenue sharing check and everything else. So
the Indianapolis Colts have lost over $1.1 million due to empty stadium seats in the 2025 NFL season so far. The Titans are predicted to have lost $2 million per game from empty seats at Nissan Stadium. With an average home attendance of 57,715. There are 11,000 seats, empty seats per game.
That stadium, the Titan Stadium,
that surprises me if that's true, right?
I don't know how many of our viewers at home were there in Nashville. Didn't Matthew go down? Or am I thinking of somebody else?
That's right.
It looked on TV.
The Colts are averaging 3,013 empty seats per home game.
Yeah, that tracks. I think that'll change. Because one thing about this city, and I'm always defensive about this, like every city in a way is a fair weather city. But I'll defend the Colts here and Indianapolis here. People here support winners. So when you win, they will come out for you. There are some towns like Atlanta that you win and they still won't come out for you. So I do think that is something that is in the Colts' corner here. People are excited, and that will be reflected.
No, you're right.
In the crowds.
You're right.
And things like this. But like this whole thing about
one thing, Derek?
Did everybody miss on the Colts? No, I don't think anybody missed. I just think that we knew that this was a good roster, right? But I don't think anybody knew that the quarterback play could be this
Correct.
because Jones has given no indication that this was possible.
You know, one thing when it comes to attendance early, when people equate it or critique the Colts for this, I will give the Colts the benefit of the doubt here, okay? And you know me, I'm as cynical about Lucas Oil Stadium as anybody. One of the things, and I say it every year, the first 4 to 6 weeks of the NFL season in cities like Indianapolis or, for that matter, Minneapolis, other indoor cities that are in cold weather towns, we know that we only get so many of these beautiful fall days left or late summer days left.
Yeah.
I understand why it's a difficult sell in September, October, especially if the roof is closed, to get people to come sit indoors for 4 hours when it's 72 and sunny outside and you know that you only have so many of those days left. I think that does hurt.
I think that's true. And and this is no offense. I have a lot of friends that work in the organization and things like that. I mean, I go to Pacers games, I go to Colts games, and just the game day experience at the Colts game is just not. It's not. I don't know if it's catered to me. It's not. It's not great. It's the same.
Are you
thing.
not blessing me?
It's bless you. It's the same thing that it's always been. The playlist is largely dated. The things that they do with Blue are largely the things that they've always done. It's just not. It's a little flat. There are a lot of stoppages. That's not the Colts' problem, right? Just NFL games in general.
They take a long time.
Are a slog, man.
It's a long time.
And this is coming from somebody that loves. I love football. I love the NFL, but the games are a slog.
Do you want to bless me again?
Yeah, bless you. Can you stop though? Are you good?
I don't know.
Okay,
I usually this happens to me.
Break?
This happens to me like.
Okay.
I usually have 4 to 6 in me.
All right. But this Rams game will be really interesting because I think the
usually
Rams
only
are
happens
really
around you. I get these allergies.
and I think we'll see a lot of Colts fans in the stands in LA.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
I really do because how often, if you're out there, how often do you get the chance to
And
see the
it's
Colts?
why would you not go out to LA? LA's great.
Yeah, LA's great. You're right about that.
Last night, Derek, I couldn't sleep, and something popped into my head, and I thought to myself, this is the kind of brilliant content that has carried Derek for 10 years now. I thought of something, and it's one of those things, I can hear it now. You're going to get upset, you're going to get mad, and then you're going to stop and think about it, and you're going to be like, and it's going to track in your head, and you're going to text me at like 2 o'clock in the morning.
I know what you're going to say, and I think you mean it like a compliment, but in reality, it's almost an insult because I have other attributes besides this that people like, something that's carried me through my life. Is that what you're saying?
Well, this in terms of your broadcast career, these kinds of questions.
And whatever,
So-
like you're born this way or not. I'm good looking, so that has helped me in my career. But just because I'm good looking does not mean that that's like carried me. So I know that like you're gonna say that, and I appreciate it. That's a compliment.
I'd like to know.
But like it's almost insulting to me because I think I'm a great broadcaster. Even if I wasn't so easy on the eyes, I think I would have a similar career to the one that I've had. So I don't think I've ridden the fact that I'm in great shape, I'm good looking, women like me. I don't know how relevant. I mean, of course, it's played a role in my success because generally successful people are very good looking, but it's not like the end all be all.
Yeah, it had nothing to do with that.
Well, I wanted to nip that in the bud because I know that's what you're going to say.
I couldn't sleep, and I'm laying there, and at first I thought, okay, I'm going to try to go through like what everyone's record is in the NFL, right? So I'm laying there, and I'm like, okay, 6-0. And I mentioned 3-0, and I mentioned the 6 teams in my
I feel
head.
bad
Right?
for you, dude.
It's awful.
It's like counting sheep.
So then I counted sheep, right? And then that took me to the Rams. And then I'm like, okay, Colts, Rams. And then my brain starts going again. And I'm like, I got to get off that. So then I decided that I was going to go through the alphabet and try to name a car manufacturer with every letter. Now, there are only 4 letters that I couldn't come up with. Would you like to guess the 4?
A car manufacturer.
Like A, Acura.
Yeah,
B,
sure,
BMW.
H,
C,
Honda.
Chevrolet.
Yeah, yeah.
Right, okay. There are only 4 letters I couldn't come up with.
Is there a Z?
That's one of them that I couldn't think of one. See?
J?
Jaguar.
Oh, yeah, duh.
Jeep.
Jeep. Oh, come on. Q?
Okay, not up here on the board. They put AMZ Zephyr. The manufacturer, not the model.
Okay, not
the manufacturer.
yeah.
What letter did you
Q?
say? Q actually. So I think Q might be one of them.
Okay.
Yes.
I mean, hit me.
Okay.
Besides the weird letters, is there another one?
E.
E, yeah. Okay.
Did I miss one with E? Somebody help me out with E.
No, I don't know.
U.
You. Yeah.
X and Z. That's it.
Okay. Yeah. No, that's, yeah.
Like, name a letter off the top of your head. Just name a letter.
P.
Porsche.
Wow.
Give me another one.
S.
Subaru.
Okay.
Another one.
M. Mazda.
Maserati.
Maserati. Okay. Yeah.
Another one.
All right.
Get one more.
B.
Well, BMW.
Okay. I. Infinity.
Isuzu.
Oh, so.
See?
All right.
See, you like this, don't you?
All right.
Okay,
all right.
see, you don't want to admit
Good
it.
segment. Good segment. That's a good one.
You don't
Yes.
want to admit it, but you like
hit me with the Isuzu. Wow.
Joe Isuzu.
Took my breath away a little bit.
3 in
All
the morning,
right.
and I'm like, Isuzu,
Yeah.
boom.
Really good. Okay. Let's ride this momentum into our Hoagie and Hero of the Week.
You want another letter?
Isuzu.
You want to go with one more letter?
Hell yeah, brother. So our friends at Hoagies and Hops, 42nd and Boulevard, had the great hoagie eating contest last week, which we really appreciate them for.
Is it gross if I just lick all this tuna right off the top?
We've got an exciting announcement coming up involving Hoagies and Hops that we'll share with you, I think, on next week's show, which we're really, really geeked up about. But our our Hoagie of the Week from Hoagies and Hops. I know it's weird to go into a store and order a tuna sandwich. It's like ordering a peanut butter and jelly, right? You feel like you can make that at home? I'm telling you.
No.
If you like tuna sandwiches,
I don't like tuna, and this is fabulous.
this is the best tuna sandwich I've ever had in my life. So you have some house-made tuna salad. Christina makes this herself. Little L, little T, little O, little OO, little peppadoo pep, little, what am I missing on here? Oh, parm. Parm's really good. And some Prove. Really good sando.
You know what I'm looking forward to, Derek? I am super excited, upcoming, to once again broadcast the Wiener Dog races at German Fest.
Is that this weekend? Or next weekend?
No, into the month. But often thought of as Oktoberfest. Same sort of celebration, but there is no Oktoberfest without the Oktoberfest beer from Chili Water, which is absolutely perfect. This time of year, a lot of people go, obviously, over to Germany for Oktoberfest celebration. This is smooth. Literally, that is like autumn in a can right there,
It's
right?
a beautiful can, too.
That's fabulous.
They have great cans,
You know,
as we've said.
Marzen style. Is that? Speaking of that, Sydney Sweeney, would you say that that's?
Oh, come on. That's beneath us.
Huh?
Isuzu, quality content. Sydney Sweeney's cans,
Joe is
low
Suzu.
quality content. No, I meant low quality. Obviously,
I don't agree.
they themselves are not low quality. That's low quality for a show like this.
No
We're
airbags,
highbrow.
right? No airbags.
Okay, relax over there. Calm down. This is good. We had an Oktoberfest of our own. St. Thomas Aquinas had a block party on Hampton. I love that little road on Hampton in Midtown. I have a couple of friends that live over there, but the Harkers and Mattingleys and a couple other families, Tarbles, ended up hosting, and it was a lot of fun. I tied one on a little bit, which I don't normally do. Yeah, I mean,
No.
it was a good situation. I was with some friends, and James was sleeping over at Grandma
Let me tell you
and
the two things
was
that
fun.
when Derek has tied one on that I've witnessed.
No, don't. Yeah, that was a long time ago.
Number one, Derek's bachelor party. I showed up, and when I showed up, Derek was in an alley next to the bar that everybody was hanging out in, and he was shadow boxing. He was
Not
shadow
true.
boxing no one and kept saying, like, you want some of this?
Not true.
And was punching the air. The other time that I saw Derek tie one on was during the Final Four when IndyCar had the same weekend.
I
an
really
event
tied
in
one on that
Birmingham.
night. Yeah.
And I drove back to New Orleans from Birmingham after the IndyCar event. And Derek, I found him in the hotel bar drinking Manhattans.
What was Manhattan?
Huh?
What was Manhattan?
And then it was at the Howard Johnson, as we walked back up the hallway, Derek was ripping off the tags that people had hanging on their door that said "Do Not Disturb" and spiking them in the ground and saying, "You want to not disturb Derek Schultz?"
No, that's
exactly
okay.
what happened.
We did collect some tags, but I did not say
there's
don't
no
mess
we
with
about this.
Derek Schultz.
There's no we about this.
I have this weird thing, and I don't
Of not wanting people to sleep in
No,
peace,
and-
okay?
and I'm not,
I know,
to-
because
to-
you woke
to
me up
each their own.
at 6:30 in the morning.
Alcohol is not really part of my life anymore. I'm a very occasional drinker. And when I do drink, I'll have like one or two, you know what I mean? But like sometimes when I'm with friends or whatever, it's a social outing and we're having a good time and James is sleeping over somewhere and I'm walking home or whatever else, like it's a safe situation. I'll go a little bit further than that. But one thing that I always like to do when alcohol was really part of my life was, for some reason, I just like to mess with people and things. I don't know why. I'm actually lucky that I never got like punched in the face. I think people looked at me and they thought, I'm not going to mess with that guy.
Yeah, that's
and that had a lot to do with it. But, you know, like taking tags off of doors and
fabulous.
Yeah, things like that. We take the air out of people's tires sometimes.
I had nothing to do with that.
No, this is when I was like in my
when
20s
you took
and
air out
teens.
of the tires. If it was a car from Give Me a Letter, I'll tell you what kind of car it might have been.
That's right. Yeah, it was.
Give me a letter.
It's my buddy's GMC Jimmy. Letter N.
N. Mm-hmm. I mean Nissan.
Okay. Well, you're just too good at that. Hero of the week.
Easy.
You can go with so many different directions here. You could easily give it to Daniel Jones. Give it to Kurt Signetti. Again, I think he's won that like 4 or 5 times already. You know who I'm going to give it to? Kelsey Mitchell.
There you go.
She's been one of the very best players in the league. And I understand
should be the MVP.
that she finished 5th. Look, I don't really care about litigating all of that. She's been the MVP for the Fever, clearly. And she's played at a level that has made you maybe not forget the fact, but certainly Caitlin Clark has been less of a conversation because Kelsey Mitchell has been that good. And part of you wonders, oh my God, what if we could have gotten peak Kelsey Mitchell like this with Caitlin Clark?
Right.
What this team would have looked like. But I think besides just being a fabulous scorer and a really talented player, she fits the Fever's fight. She wants it. You know, and that aligns with this team, and that's what has made them so endearing, that even in Clark's absence and Cunningham's absence and basically, you know, most of the team, the 5 season-ending injury, all those absences, they've been lifted up by just this attitude and this mantra and the way that they play. What is it? We all we got. And Kelsey is the one that started that. I mean, she's been through the wars. Kelsey's been on teams that won 6, 7, 8 games in front of 550 people. Yeah. You know, and to see this reward happen, now you're in the Final Four, essentially, of the WNBA, and to be playing at this level and to be turning eyeballs not only on a local level but nationally, good for her.
She has the highest single-season scoring season mark now in Fever history.
Yep.
And she has a unique ability to not only have the quickness if she needs to get to the basket, but obviously also her outside shooting ability. And it is insane to say, Derek, Caitlin Clark is an unbelievable talent, and, you know, you would take her on your team 8 days a week. Having said that, because Caitlin Clark was out for so long, it forced the Fever to kind of reinvent how and who they were going to be, and they are playing very good team basketball. I'm not saying they didn't have that capability with Caitlin Clark, but they have really gelled together, rallied around, and they've done it around Kelsey Mitchell.
Yeah, I mean, they've what I would say is they've maximized their situation.
Yeah,
and nobody expected this except for them, and that's neat. I mean,
what about W? What about a car for W? Did you think of one? The only thing I could think was Winnebago, and I don't think that's really a car.
But that's a brand, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's an RV though. That's not car.
Okay, well, I don't know. It's a personal vehicle though. It can be a personal vehicle, I guess. Yeah, there's just not enough to. I think you've got the reason why Indiana fans get behind winners, regardless, folks in the city and state. But the reason why that's amplified is because they especially get behind winners that it's us against the world. And right now, it's Colts against the world in the sense that nobody thought the Colts were going to do anything. It's Fever against the world in the sense that the Fever were banged up. Nobody thought they were going to do anything. It's IU football against the world because everybody thought last year was a fluke, right? Everyone's like, IU, they're not playing anybody, whatever. And here they are still curb stomping competition. So I think that's why this city and state is just on an insane hot streak right now because of the doubters, and they're proving them wrong. Speaking of proving doubters wrong, when we come back, we'll talk college football. IU, oh my God. Notre Dame, Purdue, and more, and we'll get into the Fever as well into the third segment.
What about E? Did you think of a car with an E?
As Quarian Schultz continues, I did not. Presented by Bailey Wood Financial Group.
One, right?
Here on the ISC Sports Network.
games we going to tonight?
You know we cover all sports in Central Indiana. Hop in. It's going to be a long night.
Bailey & Wood Mortgage Lender, proud partner of News 8 Sports Hummer.
Hey, AC!
Nice snap.
Mortgage is a snap! Duh!
Bailey & Wood, a lending hand for Wish TV Sports.
Welcome back. Bailey & Wood presents Corey and Schultz on the ISC Sports Network. He's Jake. I'm Derek. Hi. Bailey & Wood Financial Group, 855-350-HOME.
You said Willie's Jeep. Now, see, is Willie's the brand? Is that the make?
I've never heard of it. BAWFG.com. Congratulations to Mike and his wonderful family. Bailey, the namesake of Bailey & Wood, his oldest daughter married over the weekend.
Oh,
pretty cool.
outstanding.
Yeah, so I saw
Very
some
cool.
of the pictures, and Walker, his son, was like the master of ceremonies. And his daughter Wrigley obviously was in the wedding as well, and his wife Erin looked beautiful, and Mike looked great, cleaned up real nice, and looked like a wonderful time for the entire
Cleaned
family.
up real nice. He's always cleaned up.
Mike is the type of dude that, you know, he's in a merino jersey and mesh shorts and, you know, sunglasses when I see him a lot of the times. But, you know, clean up real nice, like get into a tux, and, you know, it's your daughter's wedding. There is, and I don't have a daughter, there is no bigger day in a man's life than the day of his daughter's wedding, right? Even more than your own wedding day and the birth of your children. I just think that there's like a rarefied air there.
That's probably true.
I'm so happy I didn't have a girl because my kid, when he's messing up or he wants something, it's so easy to be like, no, stop, you're being stupid, you know, whatever else, or no, you're not going to get that. A girl, I would just be wrapped around her finger. Like whatever she wanted, I would just do. She would just own me if I had a daughter. I'd be a bad girl dad. Okay. I'm a good boy dad because I'm good at telling my kid when he's being ridiculous or whatever else.
Bailey & Wood is the best, though.
Yeah.
And, you know, their continued growth in Central Indiana, and it is a privilege and honor to partner with them
rates
each
going
and every
down, so you want to refi, give them a call. Get that approval for a home mortgage. The housing market's going to bump back up here with rates coming down.
You mentioned the Miami Dolphins. I asked a question last night on the Expos Twitter, and the Dolphins, I think, were a lot of people's common answer. But, Derek, I want you to close your eyes, okay? I want you to envision the very first years that you were watching Monday Night Football. And I'm talking about like when you were super excited, you were at school that day, you knew who it was going to be. The next day on the school bus, you were talking about the first half of the game before your parents made you go to bed. You may not remember the Dandy Don Meredith, Frank Gifford, Howard Cosell era of the broadcasters, but certainly you probably are thinking of Dan Deerdorf and Al Michaels somewhere in there. Give me the two, and I don't mean a specific game, but give me the two franchises that more often than not when you think of that, you think of in the branding of Monday Night Football of that era.
This is a weird one because I don't even know if they ever played on Monday Night Football, but when I think of that, I think of Redskins-Niners. Is that weird?
Okay.
They're not even a division. It's not even a division game.
No, but the Redskins were on a lot. And I think a lot of people, you know, the Joe Theismann moment.
Late
obviously.
80s, early 90s
Correct.
is my era. So,
that's fair.
I mean, it would
a lot of people,
Redskins,
when I
Niners.
ask this question, I think one of the franchises, the Dolphins carried for so long because they were a prominent part in the late 70s. Like for me, when I first remember watching, you know, the Earl Campbell Dolphins against the Dolphins game. And then into Marino, you know, they beat the Bears on Monday Night Football, and they were constantly on because Marino was a thing. I mean,
yeah,
the reason I say it is
the
because
Dolphins being in primetime
Bailey & Wood, obviously, you know, big Dolphins fans.
Yeah, and living where I lived, I wouldn't normally get a Dolphins game unless it was on primetime, and I remember seeing the Dolphins on TV an awful lot. And they probably have a pretty big fan base and following because of that. And it's a unique color scheme and all of that. Like there's something that's sort of cool about it. Let's talk college football. What Indiana did to Illinois just sort of defies explanation. I think people are starting to realize, hey, maybe this team's actually even better than they were last year, and Mendoza looks like the best quarterback prospect out of all the ones that have been talked about. I just think, you know, I got a lot of replies last night from people that were like, well, Illinois, or that Saturday night, well, Illinois is overrated. Look, man, I don't care if Illinois is headed for 7-5 and the Duke's Mayo Bowl. You beat somebody by 53 points. That's not like 2014 Rutgers or 2024 Purdue. That's really hard to do. It's really hard to do. Clearly, Illinois is a competent, good team. They might not be a great team, but they're a competent, good team. And Indiana outclassed them.
Yes.
And I don't even think it was a case of them running it up. I think they had third stringers breaking 40-yard, 50-yard touchdown runs.
Derek, Indiana does what the Colts kind of did against Tennessee, and that is you get a lead, you get an unusual score, a pick six in the case of the Colts, a block punt in the case of Indiana, and you just don't let off the accelerator. That's the thing about Indiana. They just do not let off the accelerator. And they're up 7, then they're up 14. Then you're like, okay, if they get a stop here, wow, now they're up 17, and it just keeps going.
I think what you have to do,
and they have a lot of weapons offensively.
and this is very difficult to do because your brain stores all of this information, and
like
it's impossible. Yeah, it's impossible to fully release that information. What everyone has to do with IU football, I'm going to ask you to do something that's impossible. You have to forget everything that happened before 2024. You have to forget when you're evaluating Indiana football. You have to forget everything that happened before 2024. It's not relevant. It doesn't matter. There's a new structure in college football. NIL, all of that. They have obviously a new head coach, a second-year head coach, right? New facilities and all of that. The fan support has remained the same. If anything, the fan support has gotten better.
Right.
I don't think people outside of Indiana, like I was on a thread, and I wasn't commenting on it, but I was looking at it, where apparently Cincinnati had Kurt Cignetti as one of their finalists, and they told him, hey, you don't have enough Power 4 experience, so we're going to hire Scott Satterfield, right? And some UC fans are going back and forth in there, and they're like, well, even if Cincinnati had Cignetti, he was going to leave, just like he'll leave Indiana. And I'm like, guys, Indiana has 50 times the resources that Cincinnati has. I mean, come on. Like, that's not even apples to apples. Like, people think of Indiana as small potatoes. Indiana, like, look, is Indiana Ohio State? Are they Texas? No, nobody is that. But when you're talking about the next tier of athletic programs, they are absolutely there for resources and money and fan support and facilities and all of that stuff. Like, if people don't think that this is sustainable, it's absolutely sustainable. They're not a blue blood, they're a new blood. Some people are saying that. I don't know if I'm quite ready to go there, but I'm not shut off to the idea that this is the new reality for IU football.
Do you know what separates Indiana from Stanford? I won't put, okay, Duke.
It's a much worse school.
Correct.
And I went there.
So Stanford, for example, Stanford's in Palo Alto, California, right? Mm-hmm. Stanford's producing chemical engineers and CEOs of tech companies and, people that are turning two molecules into a combustible engine, right? And the average salary, I would imagine, of a graduate at Stanford is exponentially higher than at an Indiana or a West Virginia. The difference being, diehard athletic fans of Stanford, if they went to school there, they look at it and they go, it's great that we have a good football team, but the academics are the most important thing to me about my university, so I'm giving money to this academic program, right? At Indiana, the advantage it has is it has an incredibly connected alumni base, as do most state universities. By the way, you just scratched your head. You are pitting out so bad.
Oh, am I pitting on this shirt? Yeah.
It's horrific.
Oh, it's not horrific. There's a little puddle. Little bit of a pit. Pit out means, Jake, that you can see it up here. Like, sometimes I've pitted out and it's gone up to my collarbone. Like, that's pitting out. This is just whatever. This is common. It's common.
As I was saying, the Indiana alumni base is still very connected to the university. Like, it's a bunch of people that live in Indianapolis and they want to go down and tailgate every weekend and they want to have a good football team and they're invested and they want their athletic program, so they're willing to give their money towards it and whatever else. The athletics are important to the fan base. And in addition to that, to the people of Indiana, because it says Indiana on the jersey, there are people that didn't even go to school there that are willing to give money towards it. So the resources are there more so than at a lot of not all, but at a lot of programs, right? Because of they just have a different level of interest athletically. And so, yes, you are correct that in today's NIL era, it is different.
This is what I would say about that. Stanford, Duke, hell, even a school like Michigan, for the most part, the donors, they want to donate and put their name on a building. Whereas fans of Ohio State and Alabama and IU, they want to be on the Jumbotron at halftime doing this. Like, and thank you to John P. Smith for, you know what I mean? Like, that's what they care about. And that's fine. Like, I'm not saying like one's better than the other. It's just, it's a different sort of a mindset when you're talking about like elite and like, don't get me wrong, like Ohio State, Alabama, IU, all of these universities have elite level programs within the university, even if overall they may not be elite universities. But there's a difference between, Michigan and IU or Duke and Stanford.
The point, one of the points you make, which is a good one, is, Curt Cignetti. I mean, at this point, if you look at, there are programs like, somebody asked me, I mean, Clemson is struggling, obviously big time, more than struggling.
Oh, God.
And so people ask me, like, is Dabo Swinney on the hot seat? I'm like, I don't think he is, partially because who are you going to get, right?
And you're talking about a guy that they're going to build a statue for at the end of the day.
And so, but there are a handful of programs like Alabama, like Clemson, like maybe a Florida, where you look at it and you go, yeah, they can pay $9 to $10 million or whatever it might be a year, but the expectations at this point, number one, are so absurd, and then number two, it is a level playing field now because of the NIL and the transfer portal, right?
Yeah.
I mean, look at Purdue. Like, Purdue a year ago was the worst program in college football. They make one coaching change. They bring in a coach in Barry Odom who I don't know much about him. They're still wearing name tags amongst the players on the roster. They had all these transfers that came in, but they look like they have a level of competency, in my opinion, even though we have no idea who half the players are. They don't know who each other are. But you're able to go out and get players to buy into what it is that you want to do based on the transfer portal and immediately flip, if nothing else, and I hate this buzzword, but it's true, the culture of it all.
Yeah.
And Indiana was able to do that a year ago, and now they're just building off of it. So,
Jake,
why would you go somewhere, especially at his age?
2 years ago this week was the 1, a 2, a you know what to do, a sing-song against Akron. Two years ago to this day, Indiana played like a 7 overtime game against Akron, which they absolutely should have lost. Akron, I think, missed a 30-yard field goal or something like that. They missed a very makeable. Absolutely, they should have lost that game 2 years ago. And look at where Indiana's been. They've gone to the college football playoff since then, and they're back. They should be in the top 10. I mean, if Indiana had Nebraska on their jerseys, they'd be number 5 in the country right now. They're number 11 because they're still called Indiana.
And you know where he is now, right?
Yeah, and look, Kevin Wilson, Tom Allen, there are other people that deserve credit for getting Indiana was knocking on the door of being a legitimate program before Curt Cignetti arrived. I know they went like this right after Tom Allen. And the other difference is that as good as 19 and 20 were for IU, it all felt like a mirage.
Right.
It did. And I'm not saying that in hindsight. Even people that were like, all right, you got to give Tom Allen credit, you had to be kind of dragged into giving Tom Allen credit, right? Because you were thinking to yourself, I don't know how the COVID year, Penix reaching for the end zone, was he really in against Penn State? Like, they had everything go right. This feels sustainable because they're just obliterating everybody.
Has there ever been a coaching change with a greater dichotomy of sideline demeanor than from Tom Allen to Curt Cignetti?
Yeah, and I like Tom Allen.
I don't dislike him.
So I don't want to go down that road where we're doing,
I
think some of the criticisms, and I was at fault for this too, of Allen were mean-spirited. I think things went wrong and he had no idea how to fix them.
Yeah,
he just didn't know. He was like, what am I doing wrong? I'm doing all the same things that I did before. Like, how do we fix this? And Cignetti, there's a CEO aspect for him. He's the boss that you hate, but then when he retires, you write him the card to tell him how much he means to you. Like, that's who he strikes me as. He demands accountability, so he puts you, not that he's a mean guy. I don't think he's necessarily a mean guy.
Tell me a boss you hated that you wrote a letter to.
No, I'll say this. Like, I had a wrestling coach that I hated in the moment, but then afterwards when he retired and he had been there for a long time, I felt like I needed to tell him that, hey, like, actually it did work out. I learned a lot of things. Obviously, I learned a lot of great things about body discipline. Thank you for all of that.
Did he get on you a lot as a wrestler?
Well, yeah, because by the time I was a senior, I think he was expecting me to be like consistently on varsity, but I kept losing wrestle-offs, so I kept falling back to junior varsity. Like even freshmen and sophomores were beating me.
What is a wrestle off?
Well, you wrestle for your spot. So it's a lot like almost like a tryout. So I was a senior and I was wrestling at 125, and there were a couple of other kids at 125, and if they wanted to be on my varsity spot, that Wednesday practice, we would have a wrestle off. And sometimes I would win, but most of the time I would lose.
Give me the name of a kid that beat you.
Well, Chris Rickey beat me a lot. RICCI.
Are you friends with him?
No.
What year is he?
He would have been 2 years younger than me. Yeah, he was eventually captain.
Okay.
His senior year. So I was well into college.
JV captain or senior captain?
No, senior captain. Yeah.
I mean,
we didn't have JV captains. I would have gone for it.
Okay.
I would have gone for JV captain. And then, Notre Dame gets in the win column, I guess. They just, Jeremiah Love. One thing I'll say about Notre Dame, Jake, as bad as that defense is, CJ Carr looks really good.
He does.
And they have two great running backs in Love and Price. Maybe that's enough, but
Price might be better than Love.
I think they're a 9-3 team that's going to end up playing in the, Capital One Bowl. Like, who cares?
Well, okay, 9-3. So who's their loss to?
I think they'll lose one more game. I just don't think that they're going to. I don't
who?
think. Well, they still have USC. Syracuse might be a tricky game.
Syracuse, though, they just lost their quarterback.
I know, but Notre Dame. I just don't know if Notre Dame, with that defense, is positioned to win 10 games in a row. I don't care who you're playing. I know the schedule's lighter. They got to go at Arkansas, who's not very good, but that could still, I don't know, maybe be a tricky game. Boise looks a little bit better, even though they lost their first game. I
feel bad for Notre Dame in that regard because when you scheduled Boise State, it was a top 10 program.
All Notre Dame had to do was, it's their own fault. All they had to do was split these first two games, and they would have been in the playoff.
Right.
And they didn't do it. All you got to do is make one fourth down stop against A&M, and you're there.
Look what I have here, Derek.
Oh, yeah.
Listen,
Jaguar,
the Jags report includes a chance to get season tickets, a chance to get signatures from teams, a chance to bring your dog to a sporting event and get a discount. All kinds of stuff going on in the Jags report.
Awesome. You want to get to it next segment?
Sure.
All right, let's do that.
All right.
Also, we'll talk Fever when we come back.
It's Regatta Homecoming Week, by the way.
Nice.
For IU Indy.
What was that boat race remember we had that segment on the show one time? They used to do like a canal boat race or something in the 70s. Where
the White River Raft.
And that one guy called up.
River Raft Race.
And it sounded like it was like his life peaked at the White River. And I love that guy. I don't remember what his name was, but man, he talked about that like you would talk about like your dead wife or something. Like he loved that race.
Yes.
Deeply. And we love the Jags, and we're going to talk about them next. Query and Schultz, ISC Sports Network.
At Bailey.
Welcome back, Query and Schultz. ISC Sports Network, presented by Bailey Wood Financial Group. Thanks to Vince and Charlie and Bran and Rake and Jordan and the rest of the ISC crew back there, making sure that our signal gets to you. That's what we used to say in the radio days. Indiana Fever up 1-0, but they are playing while we're streaming this show.
That's right.
In Vegas for Game 2. It's a best of 5. I'm really excited for the games Friday and Sunday.
Yeah, it'd be fun.
I think Cambridge Fieldhouse, the folks are going to show out for that. But I don't know, Jake, like this is, to me, some people took last year's Pacers run and said, well, they're playing with house money. And I was like, well, I kind of disagree in the sense that when you get this close, you want to just go ahead and take it home. But the Fever, to me, I feel like this is like the ultimate sort of house money. I mean, you're playing the MVP of the league, the best player of the league.
Listen, you take the first on the road. Now you've taken back home court. You want to take advantage of that.
I mean, yeah, of course you want to win. But I guess my point is that even if they fall short, I can't possibly knock them for it. This is amazing, this run that they've been on and this season that they've been able to put together considering the circumstances. I don't think there's something comparable in Indianapolis sports history And I'm not saying that to be hyperbolic.
So what we know about the Fever is this. They win game 1 in Vegas. They are playing basically as you are listening to me right now, and we ask that you wait until after this to check the score. They're playing game 2, and then they are back home, Gainbridge Fieldhouse here in the WNBA playoffs. And speaking of home, that would mean it is a homecoming. And for IU Indy, it is, in fact, homecoming week. Regatta homecoming week, and everything kind of culminates with the celebration coming up on Saturday. It is time, in fact, for our IU Indy Jags report. And let's begin by talking about what's going to be taking place at 11:30 this Saturday at the Jungle over on the IU Indy campus. It is the basketball red and white scrimmage, and the best part about this, Derek, is you're going to get the men's team out there. They're going to be hooping it up 11:30. You're going to have the scrimmage, and then afterwards, women will be there as well. Your chance to meet the team, to get autographs, and to be able to then pick out your season tickets. You can pick out your exact seat for season tickets for basketball season. Everything getting underway 11:30 this Saturday at the Jungle for the red and white scrimmage at the IU Indy campus. Now, let's talk about volleyball. And that, by the way, Derek, we've been there for the games. The basketball games there, the environment's awesome, right? Because
absolutely,
it's intimate. It's you're in that gym right there. You get to see, you can hear the shoes squeaking, you can hear the coaches, all of it. And 11:30 this Saturday, your chance to meet the team, get the autographs, watch the scrimmage, and then pick out where you would like your season tickets. How about volleyball? Have you been, Derek, to the Fishers Event Center?
Yes, it's beautiful.
It's a fabulous facility.
Yeah, it's a really great facility.
And it was a really good facility for the IU Indy women's volleyball team over the course of the week, because after they beat Eastern Michigan in 4 sets, then at the Fishers Event Center, it is the Butler Invitational. And at the Butler Invitational, they get down 2 sets and then reverse sweep, as it's known. They come back, they beat Butler to the IU Indy women's volleyball team. Maya Long was the MVP of the Butler Invitational. Congratulations to Maya Long. By the way, Grace Pirica, a lot of Piricas from the West Side. You know that, right?
Yeah.
Long legacy of athletes.
Big time.
Piricas. And Morgan Ostrowski, both were named to the all-tournament team at that event taking place. They are at Wright State coming up this weekend, and then back home on the 30th. That would be a week from, I believe, Thursday. Is that right, Derek?
I think that's right, yeah.
The 30th, they will be at home in the Jungle against Fort Wayne. That will be at 7 o'clock again for IU Indy. And keep in mind, and we're going to give you all the ticket information. We'll put it up on the screen here in just a second as well, where you can get all of your tickets, because you're going to want to order ahead of time when it comes to women's soccer. And the Canines at Carroll Dog Night. I love this. This is Thursday, okay? As you are watching right here, some of the soccer action taking place for IU Indy. The men will be at home on October the 11th, okay? That's part of Jags Giving Week that is still going on right now. Jags Giving Week, we'll get to that as well. But I want to talk to you about the Canine event, the Canines at Carroll, coming up on Thursday. You can get $4 off your ticket by using the code K9 to buy tickets for women's soccer. You see them right there. And you can bring your dog. Bring your dog out. What an awesome social event to bring your dog out. Again, go to iuindyjags.com/tickets. Use the code word K9, get $4 off the tickets, and you can bring your dog this Thursday to watch the IU women's soccer team. And again, we are amidst the Jags Giving Week, so your chance to make donations, help out with the athletic department for IU Indy. They have financial goals there. They are tracking them on the website. Division I athletics. We're talking about athletes largely from Central Indiana and those that are trying to get their degree at IU Indy, and all of the fabulous different, like myself, for example, getting a degree through IU Indy and all the different programs they have there. But your chance to help out financially with that, and to take people out to see Division I athletes, many of them from Central Indiana. Even if they're not born and raised here, they're representing Indianapolis with the IU Indy Jags report. I love the Jags.
Just an easy way to see high-level Division I college sports. That's really the selling point, I think, more than anything else. So we appreciate them, of course, partnering with the show like they always do. We come back, Chateau Kitchen's Buy It or Bull Bleep, and we'll wrap this thing up. It's Corey and Schultz, ISC Sports Network.
Tonight.
You know we cover all sports in Central Indiana. Hop in, it's going to be a long night.
Bailey & Wood Mortgage Lender, proud partner of News 8 Sports Hummer.
Nice snap.
Mortgages in a snap. Duh.
Bailey and Wood, a lending hand for Wish TV Sports.
Back for a final time, Corey and Schultz. Brought to you by Bailey and
So
Wood.
Willys was indeed an engine manufacturer that produced vehicles during the war era, including the Jeeps that were used.
Okay. So almost like Studebaker.
So Willys counts.
Yeah, okay. Oh, good pull from Jordan.
Mm-hmm.
Jordan's a smart guy.
How about Quant, a Swiss automobile manufacturer?
I don't know if this is still the case, but I on the ISC Google Calendar, which I no longer have access to because I'm not an employee anymore. I set a yearly reminder for, and I don't even remember what this was about, but Jordan one time called me to ask me how to do something. And that was so crazy that Jordan would ask me, of all people, to do something because I've asked him how to do something like 10 billion times, that I set it as a Google Calendar alert. So, Vince, I want you to tell me if you guys get a Google Calendar alert. I want to say it's around like April or May. Like Jordan asked me how to do. He called me one day and was like, "Hey, how do I like change the settings on something?" And I was like, "Oh my god!" Like it was amazing. Like it was like a compliment that Jordan called me to ask me to do something.
Can I give you an old man rant?
May 25th. Yes. Okay. See, I didn't remember. I knew it was the spring, summertime.
Here's my only old man rant. It drives me crazy when people that I work with will say, "Hey, tomorrow we've got to go over something. Can you hop on a call?" Yeah, sure. Okay, Cindy is going to call you. We'll call you through Teams. Teams? Yeah, you've got to download the app, and then it will. Why don't you just call me? Well, we'll be in the office. I'm going to be in Cindy's office, and we'll Teams call you. Just call my phone.
Yeah, that's not. Yeah, so much of the stuff that I do with Purdue is Teams. So
I understand if you're doing a video conference call or something, but like for just a 3-person call where 2 are sitting in an office.
Jake, you're rare in the sense that like I called you yesterday knowing that what I told you could have easily been a text message. But I called you because I know that's what you prefer. Like you like to be on the phone.
Well, it's not that. It's the fact to me. But I want in and out as quick as possible.
Yeah,
if I've got to download and then go in and wait and connect, come on.
What I don't like is, sometimes it's Teams, and then sometimes somebody asks me to do something and it's Zoom. Or,
well, that's
like
the other thing, right?
Google Chat or something.
That's the other thing. There's 5 million of these,
like,
right? Whatever happened to that Google Hangout? They still do that?
No. Remember Google Glass, the glasses that never.
The Google Glass thing, I still don't understand what the idea was.
There are a couple of things that just never that. Everyone swore would become a thing. Esports is another one that everybody swore was going to become a thing, and it just never really. I mean, I understand that esports is still around and people still do it, but like, oh no, you don't understand. Like, this is the next big thing. Now, millions of people are going to watch it, and they're like, nah.
And again, it goes back to our buddy Ryan Robertson, who was convinced that like 90% of the world was going to have an iWatch or an Apple Watch, and I know that they're popular, but like.
I do think most people have some sort of, maybe not an Apple Watch, but some sort
a variation,
fitness
maybe
tracking,
right?
Things like that. Chateau Kitchens, presenting sponsor of Buy It or Bold Bleep. ChateauKitchens.com, at Chateau Kitchens for before and after pictures. In-home transformations, that's what Stephen Moore and the rest of his talented crew do, whether it be a basement, a kitchen, Chateau Kitchens, right? A bathroom, a wet bar, a mudroom that you want to redo. Anything on the interior of your home, Chateau Kitchens. Yeah, do you guys call them mudrooms?
Yeah, we went over that once.
Where you throw like your sneakers and coats and stuff, mudroom. Usually between your garage and your kitchen, sort of deal. We don't have a mudroom.
Ours was just called the laundry room.
Yeah, that makes sense. But we have a laundry room because of Chateau Kitchens. They made one for us, and they do unbelievable work. Don't even take my word for it. Look for those before and after pictures. Number one, Jake. The Colts have the chance to be the best team in the AFC. Buy it or Bold Bleep?
I'll qualify it. They have a chance to have amongst the best records, but no, the best teams are going to be, assuming everybody stays healthy. I still say, Buffalo, even though they lost last night, Baltimore is still really good. And I think the Chargers are really good.
Yeah, me too. I'm really impressed by them. But overall, I think you got to be pretty happy with how it's shaken out so far because the Chiefs don't look like the Chiefs.
Derek, I hate to say this.
You got to give them the benefit of the doubt.
I hate to say this. I think the Colts have a very good division, a very good chance of winning their division. But I also think that going into the playoffs, being the winner of the AFC South is like going to the college football playoffs because you won the ACC.
Yeah, I mean, if you put a gun to my head right now and be like, I don't know why you would do this. Pick the Colts record right now. I would say 11-6.
Okay.
And maybe that's undershooting it. But I'm just adding on to what I had because I thought at the beginning of the year I thought they'd be like 8-9, 9-8. And now, they won maybe – I think the Denver game was one that I had originally as a loss.
Right.
But that's kind of where I think they'll be. I do think things will –
They have to now not lose a game that is one that you looked at and thought for sure they would win.
And eventually –
like they can't lose at home to Tennessee.
And eventually they're going to have to come from behind. And I mean like really come from behind, not like you're down 2 points in the final seconds type behind, but like be down, 14-3, 10-0, 17-7. And come back from that. Eventually, they're going to have to, and that's what I'm kind of interested to see when they get off schedule, how they end up looking. Statement number 2: the Big Ten will absolutely have 4 teams in the college football playoff. Buy it or bull bleep.
Buy it.
Yeah, man. At this point, yeah. I mean, I think if Indiana, how about this for buy it or bull bleep? Indiana goes 10-2, but loses to Penn State and Oregon. If they smoke everybody else, is that good enough? I think it might be. I think it would depend on Illinois. Would have to go like 9-3, right? You would need Illinois to be a good win, or one of these other games. I don't know who else they
Derek,
play that's any good.
I think it might be enough just because
Maryland,
the ACC, for example.
Yeah.
If Florida State wins the ACC and with Clemson being down and Notre Dame, if you're counting them ACC. Miami? I guess Miami gets in, but let's say Miami then. There's probably only one. That could be a one-team league if that makes sense. So yeah, it's possible, right?
Yeah. Okay. I didn't have a third one.
Edsel.
Ooh, Eagle. I had a buddy that drove an Eagle Talon. Do you remember those cars?
I do remember those cars. Yeah.
They were awful. Yeah, we'd go around. He had a car. He lived in Jackson Heights. And he had a car when we were freshmen. He was the only person that we knew that had a car. So we'd tool around and smoke cigarettes in an Eagle Talon. Yeah. It was awesome.
Okay.
Yeah. Love that car.
Fair enough.
Thanks to all of our great sponsors, Chateau Kitchens. Also, of course, our presenting sponsor, Bailey & Wood Financial Group. Hoagies and Hops and Chili Water Brewing. We've got an exciting announcement coming up with them, which we'll share with you next week. And the Jags, IU Indy, for sponsoring this show. For the whole ISC crew, for Jake, I'm Derek. We will see you next time right here on Query and Schultz. Bye.
At Bailey & Wood, we